teardrops for one heart to carry. I
Oh, there you
welcome
go.
everybody. It's Plastic Pete from Melbourne, Australia. And let me tell you, it gives me such a great pleasure to introduce the world to Robert Lee, Baldarrama, guitarist for that great hit there, 96 Tears, right? He was the guitarist. How are you today, Robert?
How you doing, Jason? I'm
Yeah,
feeling groovy.
just call me Plastic, and I'll ask you
Okay.
a few questions. And
Okay.
this is you on the left-hand side with the band. Let's have a look. Let's go back to 1966.
We'll be together for just a little while, and then I'm gonna put you way down here, and you'll start crying 96 tears. Cry, cry.
Now, how groovy is that song in 1966 with the most recognizable rock riff off the organ there on a Vox Continental, and Frank Rodriguez was playing that. How fantastic was it to be there at number one in the United States and number 37 in England? How great was that?
Oh man, it was a dream come true, Plastic. I just we always wanted to release a record and hear it on the radio, and we finally got on the radio, and we even got on TV too.
You've got to ask you about the TV now. I've got to ask you, tell me about American Bandstand. Then I want you to tell me what it was like touring with Sonny and Cher and the Yardbirds. So take your time, because
Okay.
that's what fans want to know. So let's start with American Bandstand. How huge was that? But
Oh,
also,
that
I'm
was
going to say, right, there's members of the band that were called XYZ, and when girls came up to you, you were a mystery yourself, and they asked your name, and you said, "My name's X." Is that true or not?
that's true. And then she told me that was weird.
All right, tell me about American Bandstand.
Okay. Yeah, it was a great time doing American Bandstand and meeting Dick Clark. He was such a real nice and humble person. And every time we would concert with mamas and papas, Sonny and Cher, it was just a great time, Plastic. And Dick Clark was an amazing person.
You know what blows my mind, Robert? The fact that 1966, you got to understand too, I'm a big Monkees fan. I don't know if you ever
Okay.
met the Monkees or came across them,
Yeah.
but your song here in Australia was played on the radio so much. I want you to know that, because I'm a
Wow.
first generation fan. That's how much you got across the whole world.
Wow. That's great. I'm glad to hear that, Plastic. It makes me feel happy.
Yeah, now tell me what it was like being on tour, as I said, with the Yardbirds and Sonny and Cher. Tell us some great stories about these other artists.
Yeah, we toured with the Yardbirds, and it was a great time meeting the singer and the guitar player. But Jeff Beck wasn't playing, and he was my favorite guitar player. And Jimmy Page took over. I didn't know who he was at the time. I wanted to see Jeff Beck. He was my favorite. In fact, I named my son after him, Jeff. I loved the way Jeff Beck played. But the Yardbirds were an amazing group. They were fun to watch, and I remember talking to the singer. We were in New York City, and we were on the elevator together, and we were talking. And he goes, "You guys are really good." I said, "Man, you guys are the best." It was a good time.
I got to say, you were still in school when
Yeah,
you
I was.
started playing with the band. Is that true?
Yeah, I was in the ninth grade.
How do you go? I'm going to school and I'm in one of these biggest bands in the world, right? When I mean that, the song just went across the whole world. I mean, what was that feeling being so young when that song was released and just went like fire?
Yeah, it was amazing, Plastic, because we used to listen to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones all the time, and we did covers of them. And I used to think it would be great to be on the radio with them, and it'd be a dream come true. And it really happened. We were on the radio all over the world, and we were on the same playlist and the same charts with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. So that was like a dream come true.
But I'm saying, coming out of Michigan, I mean, how fantastic is that? Local
Yeah,
band does great, world class. And I've got to say, your lead singer, there's the mystery there with a question mark. I mean, he wrote this song, but what I'm trying to say is there was a song on the radio by the Rolling Stones, 19 Nervous Breakdown, and he didn't want to use numbers in the title of the song. Is that true?
yeah. Well, we all wrote the song together, and and our drummer came up with the idea of calling it 69 Tears. And we knew that it wouldn't get played on the radio. So he said, "Why don't you turn the numbers around, call it 96 Tears?" So that's how it came into existence of giving it the name 96 Tears. You know, that was a great time. And we actually all of us wrote it together.
That's fantastic. But you know what? You guys look great because you got the hairstyles like the Beatles, but you're American, right?
Right.
So you got to understand, English musicians look up to American musicians. So when they
Wow.
came from the UK, they're looking up to you guys and you're looking up to them. So what
Yeah.
happens is all these musicians on top, they're all equal. No one's better than anyone. They're just trying to make a living and get
Yeah.
their music across. So
Yeah.
that's like one of the most greatest times you can do music in the world. Do you agree with that part?
It was, and we had a chance to play in London. I think it was like a 98, 1998 or 99. We played in London, and it was so cool that everybody remembered 96 Tears, and it was like it was like being in the 60s again because the people really loved us, and it was excited to see that. And I remember driving by the Apple Studios, and I asked the driver if he would drive by there because I wanted to take a picture of it, what the Beatles recorded.
Now, Robert, I've got
Yep,
to ask you what the crowds were like, right? When you
yep.
guys had the hit record and you had all the girls in the audience and on the TV shows, I mean, what was that? You got to explain to people the feeling that you guys had that you're musicians and you've made it. I mean, it's like on top of the mountain, isn't it, really, when you look
Yeah.
back?
Oh, yeah. It was like a dream come true, because we had that dream to do it and we actually accomplished it, And I remember when we played in London, we played, there was a guy called Genesis, not the band, but it was one guy called Genesis. We opened up for him. And then that night, we played at a flat, at somebody's apartment flat. And they had it all set up with the stage, and everybody was dressed like the 60s, Everybody, like girls were wearing miniskirts with long, with big tall boots, and the guys were dressed like the Beatles, and had the Beatle haircut. And this was like in 1998. It was like walking into a time travel, when we walked into that apartment, everybody was dressed like the 60s. That was amazing.
That was like an Austin Powers movie, was it?
Yeah, it was like that. Exactly. And it was so much fun.
Now, I've got to ask you, can you tell me a little bit about your guitar, the one that you played on the song? Tell everybody that the kind of guitar you played on 96 Tears. Everyone wants to know.
Yeah, it was ES 345 Gibson stereo. I bought it for my brother, and he bought it in the late 50s. He played guitar, and he sold it to me, and I used that for 96 Tears, and and that was it was a Gibson ES 345.
What color was it, if you can tell me?
What's that?
What color was the guitar?
Oh, it was Sunburst. It was a Sunburst guitar.
Have you still got it, Robert, or it's gone?
And no, it's gone.
It didn't end up at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something, did it? Or did you
I,
sell it, or what happened to it?
yeah, I sold it. I went through some hard times throughout my, in certain times of my life. So somebody offered me a bunch of money, so I sold it.
That's all right. But as I said, you got the memories and you can always buy a guitar. But you
Yeah,
know what? The memories never go away.
that's right.
And making it on vinyl and listening to yourself on the radio. I mean, how big is that a thrill as a musician?
Yep. And right now I have a smooth jazz band, and then I just released a song called "Any Moment," and by Lasonic. And me and Frankie Rodriguez, the keyboard player, wrote were part of the writing team, and it came out on Generic slash Orchard Records. It went number 1 on Billboard, and number 1 on Media Base, and number 1 on SmoothJazzNetwork.com for 2 weeks. So it is that, we always, people would call Question Mark Mysterians one hit wonder, but now me and Frankie we're not one hit wonders anymore. We got a number 1 hit again.
Well, I just want to say congratulations. And if you can tell everybody your Facebook page and links and everywhere they can hear the song, go ahead and tell them.
Yeah, it's Robert Lee Baldarrama on Facebook. And then I have a Robert Lee page, you can like that one. But I do most of my stuff. The only thing I do promote on Facebook is music, and the Mysterians we play without Question Mark. Question Mark does not want to perform right now because of the COVID. But, he's definitely scared of it. But we play as the Mysterians, the local venues, playing the oldies music, plus 96 Tears, I Need Somebody, Do Something to Me. We play all those songs.
Yeah, I know you had some fantastic songs in your first album, 96 Tears was great. And then what happens is your second song was I Need Somebody, yeah?
Yep, I Need Somebody, Do Something to Me.
I Can't Get Enough of You, Baby, isn't it? That the third one?
What's that?
The third song, I Can't Get Enough of You, Baby. Is
I Can't Get Enough of You, Baby. And Smash Mouth did it in the late 90s. And it was in a bunch of movies, too. 96 Tears was in a lot of movies, too.
Unbelievable. You know what? I just want to tell you personally, Plastic EP salutes you. And you know what? You are a music legend, make no doubt. And that song, 96 Tears, is one of the greatest, if not the greatest songs that's ever come out, because it's got the most recognizable organ sound that hasn't been, no one's come up with a better riff for a rock and roll song than 96 Tears. And I just want to say, I personally salute you. And it's such a pleasure to talk to someone that, is just like unbelievable. And you are a rock and roll legend, Robert.
Oh, thank you, Plastic. And somebody told me that John Lennon really liked 96 Tears. It was one of his favorite songs. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I can believe that. Now, is there any other links you want to tell people now about your smooth music, where they can find out more about now the Robert review that you've got, Robert Baldarrama review?
Yeah, Robert Lee Review is the name of my band. But and I'm going to be releasing a new album in about 2 months. And it's going to have our hit song on there any moment. And it's going to be the best of Robert Lee Review. We released 2 albums, smooth jazz albums, and we list about 5 singles. So all our singles and the best of the 2 albums is going to be on the Robert Lee Review, the best of.
Everyone go out there and make sure you buy it because the legend lives on. And Robert, stay there. We thank you so much. Okay. Plastic EP's coming in from Mars for these episodes because I love it and I love the music of the 60s so much, being a first generation fan. And as I said, Robert, I salute you. Just stay there for a minute.
Okay.
Too many teardrops for one heart to be crying. Too many teardrops for one heart to carry.